What's good, y'all? It's Lance from Sports Templates here with our new Football Mockup Pack for Photoshop. In today's video, I'll be taking you through this template with this Royals theme branding. Our newest mockup is out now, and if you want to follow along, the link to the Photoshop library with the colors and images will be in the description. That's also where you can find the link to purchase the template, which can also be found on sportstemplates.net. But before we get started, I want to remind y'all to drop a like and subscribe to the channel for more tutorials like this. Now, after downloading the pack, you will receive this file with 10 different mockups all packaged into one, as well as each mockup in its own individual file. Additionally, you'll receive these 3 bonus mockups of this football cleat, the t-shirt on the seat, and the stadium seats as well. But for today, we're going to work within a file that has everything. So to start, I'll change our background color to our white. Now we'll come to the main folder, and this will be your center rectangle here. So we can delete our placeholder stuff here, just hit delete. On my keyboard, I'm gonna change our color. I'm gonna turn on this layer, change it to our blue, and then I'm going to bring in the background pattern graphic from our library. Just drag that over, and to make sure that this is centered, I'm gonna come up to the top menu here, and I will make sure to hit these 3 dots to get our align menu. Make sure that align to canvas is selected. And then we can hit this center button here and here to make sure we're aligned to the center of our page. I'm just going to drag that out, bring it down. And that'll help us now when we need to center anything else going forward. I think I'm just going to make this a bit bigger. Like that. And then we can take our logo, our primary logo, and drag that in there as well. Just making sure it's centered and scaling it up. We can close that out. Moving on to our banner. So next we're going to come into our banner. We're just going to keep opening up these folders until we have our design and our base color, which will kind of be how most of these templates are set up. If you hide the design layer, you can see we can have our color here, which we can change to our library. We're going to turn on the smart object, the design layer. And if you double click on that layer thumbnail, you can actually open up the flat file, which we can edit. So we're going to just hide our grid here. I'm going to change the design color to blue. I'm going to bring in our background pattern there, center it, size it up. I'm holding Alt or Option plus Shift, and then we're just going to bring it down. And for this one, we're going to bring in our anniversary logo here. Do the same thing, just making it larger. And then from here, you can hit Control S to save. And then when you come back into your main file, you see that the design has been applied, and it also follows the folds and the creases of the flag. But when we edit it here, it's flat, so we can get the design right, and it applies itself there. Then when we're done with that, we just close out this file. I'm going to Control Command 0, do the whole thing again. Then we're going to go into our Shin Guard. Now the Shin Guard has a little more parts to it, but it's all the same. We're going to come into here, and we see we have our guard design and our sock design, as well as guard's colors and the guard strap colors. Up here, I'm going to, from the beginning, I'm going to change the strap color to orange. Then we're going to go into our guard design, which we're just going to put our main logo over. Nothing too complicated here. I'm going to size it up, and then we're going to move it over more to the left than to the right. And so what we want to do, make sure we have this right, is you grab the tab out the top, and it brings it up so you have your second window to work with. Then when we hit Control S here, you can see how it looks on there. I think I'm just going to hit Control Command T to size this down like so. And I'm going to do it again, just bring it down like this. And maybe up a little bit. There we go. And then we can close that out. Open up our sock object. We're going to do the same thing here. I'm just going to bring this out like this, just a little smaller so I can see more. And then we can hide our grid. I'm going to make this a blue sock, but I'm going to add a couple of stripes to it. So I'm going to hit the U key on my keyboard, and I'm going to drag out a rectangle. Now it's already blue, but we're going to make it white at the top. I'm going to bring this, make it a little smaller. Then we hit Alt or Option and just click and drag that down. And then we're going to make this bottom one orange. So we save that. And I think that's a little big for what I want. So I'm going to hit Control or Command and make sure I select both rectangles in the layers panel. Hit Control Command T and just bring those down just a little bit. There we go. And we'll see that the orange strap is kind of covered up by the strap, but it'll be more visible when we get to our sock design there. But for now, we're just going to go on to the next thing, which is the electronic board. So on the board, it's going to be more of a traditional scoreboard that you see in soccer. Not a scoreboard, a substitution board you see in soccer. We're going to hide our gray and then take the background. We're not going to make it fully black, more of a dark gray. And then T on our keyboard. And then don't click in the rectangle, make sure you click outside it. And we're going to get our numbers going. We'll make that bigger. And then the font we use, Digital Display Regular, will be in the description along with the Photoshop library. What I'll do here, I'm gonna get one number like that. Hold Alt or Option, and then just click and drag it over. And then do another number. We're gonna change the color here in our Properties tab to a bright green. So now I'm gonna take both of those and put them in a group. What I can do with that is make sure that this is centered. Then I'm gonna hit Control Shift or Command or Control Shift G to ungroup them. We're gonna drag that up just a little smaller there. And then lastly, we're gonna take our white logo from the library. We're gonna put this at the top, centering it and just dragging it up like so. Then we can save it, zoom in, and I think that looks pretty good. We're gonna close this out. Next thing is the sock, which we're going to do the same as our previous design. So what we can actually do is reopen up the Shin Guard and reopen up the sock design here. Then we're going to go back to the mockup pack. We're going to go into the sock down here and open up that smart object. What we can do is select both of our rectangles, copy them into here and paste them. Close out the original. Then we can hide our grid and make the background the dark blue. Then when we save that, we got our sock. You can see now the line actually catches the crease in the sock. So I'm actually going to bring these down just a little bit. Like so. And I can close that up. We can close out both our Shin Guard and sock groups. The next thing we have was our team bus. So the library on the bus is going to have more of a full wrap to it. The first thing we're going to do is hide our grid, and we're going to do our background pattern. We're just going to scale it up. So I'm going to drag this in and we're going to stretch it to both sides fully. And we're just going to make sure the top of it is kind of right at the top of our frame here. And then we're going to take our 75 logo here. We're going to tilt it slightly, just kind of hovering around the edges until you get this little rounded arrow. Tilt it slightly, and then just going to bring it up. And I'm going to save that. And then I'm also going to take out the tab here so I can see how it looks. And that's not too bad. I think I'm going to change the tilt so it's not as strong. I'm going to save that. And maybe just make it a tiny bit smaller. There we go. I think that gets the job done. So we can close that out. And moving over to our scarf on the other side. And the scarf actually has two parts to its mockup. It has both the scarf and the beanie itself. But for the beanie, I'm just going to do a color. I'll make it orange. And then the scarf, I'm going to make our dark blue. You know what that'll do is that'll affect the edges here. See. And where the design comes in is on the front of the scarf here. I'm going to hide our background, make it blue. Then we're bringing our 75 logo, make it smaller, bring that over here. So the first thing we're going to do is hit T again. We're going to have our type. I'm just going to hit enter so we can change the color and actually see the type. I'm going to change it to our orange. Instead of using our substitution font, I'm actually going to bring up the next font in the description. The next font. And we're just going to bring the TH here. So it's 75th. Bring that up there. just align it to the top. And it's easy to align it to the top. You can see the pink line at the top of the 75, and it kind of snaps into place like so. If you're not seeing this, you just want to go into View, Show, and make sure Smart Guides is checked. That'll get you these pink lines and allow the snapping to happen to make sure that you can align everything a lot easier. So next, like how we've been duplicating before, I'm gonna hold Alt or Option, click and drag down here. Now we're set to image type anniversary. Oh, we're gonna change this to white. Then I'm gonna center this and just drag it up. What I actually want to do here is align this to the top and bottom of that. What you see with our text, you kind of have when you try to transform text in Photoshop, you get this little gap at the top and bottom that you don't want. So to get around that, I'm gonna drag this up 3 bit bigger, and I'm gonna right click it in the layers panel, hit convert to smart object. Now when you hit Control or Command T, we'll have that space at the top and bottom. So that allows us to kind of align everything together. Now I'm gonna select everything, Control G to put it in a group, and get it centered on the page. Then when we transform it with Control or Command T, just bring it down something like that. And just to make sure, we're gonna drag it out and see how it looks when we save it. That's not bad, but I do want everything to be fully readable. So if I drag it again, select it again and drag it down. That's not bad, just a little bit bigger. There we go. So we can close that out, get a good look, and now we're on to the bottom row. For our event post here, you see is displayed in the stadium. And when we edit it, we actually do something a little more unique here. So we're gonna bring in our background pattern, and I'm gonna drag it to both sides like so. And I'm gonna bring it down just a little more. And our background, instead of making it blue, we're gonna make it orange. At the top, we're gonna hit T again. And we're gonna hit that white. We're gonna center it and name the team. You can name it whatever you want, but I feel like Westchester Royals is a good name for our team. Oh, not that. So we're gonna drag that up, drag that down, and then we're gonna duplicate it like how we've been doing before, holding Alt or Option. And here we're gonna write celebrating 75 years of excellence. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hit T. Now I'm gonna make sure that this is all center aligned. Like so. We got this kind of a big gap in between the different lines. We'll come here where it says auto. We're just gonna click and drag that to the left. Keep dragging that to the left until they bring those a bit closer together. And then when that's close together, we Control T. Just make this a tiny bit bigger. And lastly, with our 75-year celebration, we're gonna bring in our anniversary logo. Center that and just bring it down a little bit. We save that. We see we have a nice sign going on over here. The next is our inflatable tube entrance here. The players come out. We're gonna open that up, and it has some different moving parts here. We have our left side design, our top, and then our right, as well as the colors of these parts here. The first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna change our base color, make that orange, which affects the brown in these parts here. Then we're gonna do our top design first. I'm gonna double click on that. We're gonna make these designs blue. And actually, I'm gonna come into where our event poster was. And I'm gonna grab the design from here. And what I'm gonna do is just grab the text, hit Control C, and close this out, and paste that into there. Like so. And that's centered. We're gonna save that. There we go. So we can close this out. Next, we're gonna close our event poster. We're gonna go into the left side. On the left side, when you see it, is vertical. In the actual file, it's horizontal, which means we need to rotate our logo as we put it in here. We'll change the background to blue, and I'm gonna bring in our 75 anniversary logo. We're going to hold shift when we have our little rounded arrows here. We're going to rotate this 90 degrees, bring it down like so. And then you see now it's right side up. But the other side, we're going to open up our right side. What we're going to do is drag or grab this, copy it, and paste it. And to paste it in the exact same place, we're going to hit Control Command Shift V. And then we can transform it and drag it 180 degrees, or rather negative 90 degrees in the opposite direction. Make the background dark blue. We can close both of these out, making sure to hit yes when they ask us if we wanted to save. Now we got that in place. Next, we have our t-shirt laying on the ground, or of like a jersey uniform type of sweater design. But what we're going to do for it, as we've been using in our previous graphics, we're going to use our background pattern, kind of be the base of the uniform. Dragging this up and bringing it down. We're going to bring it down a little more than normal, because then we're going to add our main logo as a patch on the chest, like around there. So we're bringing this out just to make sure that this is in place. So when we hit save, you see there, now we got the, if you zoom in, you can kind of see the pattern go not quite where I want it to go. I'm gonna just drag it out. We're not there. Or Control T, just drag it out a little more, bring it down like so, and then we can close this out. So the next thing we want to do is change our neck color, the collar on the outside. We're going to make that white. Then we're going to make the inside of the t-shirt blue. We'll come back out. And last but not least, we have our flag here, which we're going to take and open the design. And for this, we're going to do a similar thing to how we did on the event poster. Make our background orange and bring in our background pattern, dragging it to the sides like so. And this is actually all we're going to do. We're going to bring it down like this, and then we save that and bring it down maybe just a little more, close this out. And personally, I think it's a very cool flag without the text, without anything on it, just the orange color, the bold colors, and then the crown at the top. I think that makes for a nice flag. Then we close that out, and now we have a full mock-up pack for our team. And there you have it, all 10 mock-ups done and customized. And I want to say thank you if you have made it to this part in the video. And if you want to follow along, once again, you can get the template down in the description below or on sportstemplates.net, along with the fonts and assets down there in the description as well. But if you want to see our next tutorial with every new template that we do, be sure to subscribe to the channel and like the video. Thank you.